vision of what's to come. Poor Senua. The darkness does not bargain. It does not reason. It is wrought. And now it has taken hold. It will spread towards her head, the seat of the soul, until there is nothing left of her. All of her suffering will have been for nothing. It's just a matter of time. Hello. Who are you? Doesn't matter. Welcome. You're safe with me. I'll be right here, nice and close so I can speak without alerting the others. Let me tell you about Senua. Her story has already come to an end, but now it begins anew.
What's happening? It's breathing. The head. It's breathing. It's breathing. Yeah. He knows she's getting closer. He can feel her coming closer. She's getting closer. They're watching. The head. They're watching. They're watching. They're watching.
This is a journey deep into darkness. There will be no more stories after this one.
What is she doing? Why is she doing this? They're watching. Why doesn't she feel you coming? She's doing this for him. She wants to rescue him. He's already dead. They can feel you coming. They're coming. Quiet.
Oh, how rude of me. I never told you of the others. You hear them too, right? They've been around ever since the tragedy. Well, that's not quite true. Some are old, some are new, but they've changed. I think the darkness changed them, just like it changed her.
Can you see them? Over there. Why isn't she looking? Why aren't you looking? It's in hell high.
Look, up ahead. You see it too?
You promised you came.
Yes. It is real after all. She's finally arrived in the land of mist and fog. The place the Northmen call hell.
Turn back. Go back. Go back. It's not safe. Go back. It's not safe.
It's them. They're here. The slow start to Senua's journey, in my opinion, is a foreshadowing of what is to come.
Look around.
It's the creator's way of
The drown.
giving you some insight into how Senua's journey is going to be a slow journey. It's going to be a painful journey and a deeply dark one.
Still here. This is not a place of rest.
You can't do this. Go back. Go back. They're going to do that to you. Can you see them? Can you see them? They're going to do that to you. They're watching. Stop. Can you feel them watching? They're watching her. They're watching her. You're so close to the darkness. Go back. Can you feel it?
What is she thinking? I can tell you. She's afraid. Wouldn't you be? You'd think she would get used to it by now after so many years. But the darkness, it just builds onto itself, growing stronger, towering over her. You might try and ignore it, turn away, but it's always there, just out of sight.
The voice that welcomes you and begins to explain of what is happening and what has already happened, in my opinion, is not Senua herself, but instead it's the voice we all have in our heads. It serves the purpose of bringing to context of what you're seeing.
She's brave to go on this journey on her own.
The other voices are paranoia, doubt, encouragement, fear, anxiety, trauma, and regret. We all have these, but Senua's voices are more clear. They are more obvious because Senua is schizophrenic. And that is what this game and the creators have done really well, in my opinion. They've nailed it. We all hear these voices from time to time, but if you ever come into close contact with anyone suffering from some form of mental illness, you'll know that these voices are more stronger than those of people who don't suffer from such issues.
You found a way to climb the tower, the ladder. Quick. On now. You can see it. A line to the truth. The bridge. She did it.
You fixed the bridge.
She fixed it.
You passed the trial, get to the house.
You succeeded.
What is she doing?
Why is she doing this?
Why doesn't she turn back?
She's doing this for him. She wants to rescue him.
He's already dead.
These voices Senua hears,
His soul
they
is
either encourage Senua or they try to stop her
where you are.
throughout her journey. At one particular part they even turn positive.
She
Now,
forgets too.
you may have experienced these voices yourself if you've ever done something and regretted it, or if you're going to do something and doubt steps in and tries to deter you.
Fool said there was a hidden path up to it. Let's see, shall we?
Senua, your father cannot understand your darkness. He cannot see through your eyes. No one can. My own father was born blind. Doesn't have the faintest idea of what the night looks like. The word dark to him means as little as the word light. So someone is afraid of the dark. Should we fix them by taking away their sight? Would you give up the beautiful world that you, and only you, can see just to be rid of your nightmares? Or is this the price you pay for the gift you have? A gift that makes you so special in my eyes. Just another part of the person I love.
Each and every one of us has a drive. Some people like to call it determination, some people like to call it motivation. Some people have other people who drive them. In Senua's case, her drive to go through this journey is called Dillion. Dillion is her driving force, her belief. Dillion is her love. She believes that by continuing on this journey, she can save him. But as you continue on this journey with Senua, you begin to realize that you, the player, are in fact Dillion. You are her strength. You are her driving force. It doesn't really matter who you are.
Don't kill me. I'm not one of them. Don't listen. I was just hiding. I find I live longer that way. Don't listen. I'll never let the bastards catch me again. Never! Wait. Who are you?
It's just a memory.
Drew? Is that you?
For my tales of the Northmen, they call me Druth. Liar.
He's lost.
An old fool. Truth is my truth.
It's good to see you again. You kept your vow.
Guide you in this life and the next. I will tell you my story.
Druth keeps you going with the old Norse tales, and visions of Dillion serve as a constant reminder of why Senua is doing what she is. But the truth is, you are Senua's inner strength, and you are the one who keeps her going through the dark, and through the illusions, through the fire, and all the way to Hela. Without spoiling too much, HellBlade is definitely one of a kind. In an era where multiplayer is the main focus, Ninja Theory stuck their middle finger up at the current trend and developed a single-player gem. You guide Senua, who has to make her way to Hell in order to save her beloved Dillion. She must face Valravan and Sutra before the gates that leads to Hell are opened.
Go through it.
Both areas are very impressive, with Valravan's area being full of illusions and puzzles of figuring out how to open certain ways which are closed, and Sutra's area being all fire engulfed in flames, and the flame effects and the fire effects are all done really well, especially if you're experiencing Senua's journey in 4K. It looks absolutely awesome. And along the way you learn what happened to Senua and some Norse stories that are beautifully narrated by Druth.
And that is where you must travel. The Northmen say that in the beginning there was nothing but darkness. Bitter cold to the north, fiery hot to the south. They say the cold formed ice, which melted from the sparks from the south. The power of the darkness gave life to the dripping ice, and the first giant was born, and was named
HellBlade
Ymir.
Senuas
The
Sacrifice
ice continued to drip.
by Ninja
The
Theory
power
is
of the
truly
void
a
gave
beautiful
life to
game
it,
in every
and it
sense.
became a car.
Visuals, sound and gameplay, all fantastic. There's a very easy learning curve with the gameplay mechanics, which soon becomes second nature. The sound design in particular is absolutely fantastic. This game is definitely designed to be experienced with a good headset, earphones or headphones. Visuals are superb. You can either play this game with a slightly lower resolution but higher frame rate, which makes the game a lot smoother, or if you're not bothered about the gameplay being that smooth, you can play with enriched visuals. The options are there. It all basically boils down to your personal preferences.
Don't escape.
yearns for life, hungers for it. Like a pack of wolves on a hunt. But she's not stopping. Not this time.
Now, in this section, Senua is faced with these giant masks, which when focused on affect the surroundings.
Trust us.
They change the world around her from a dreary, depressing, wet place with obstacles in her path to a beautifully lit, bright place. The voices in her head say things like that they feel safe here and it's lighter and that they like it here, even though it's actually the same place.
It's lighter. It's nicer. I like it here. Can we stay? Let's stay here. It's safe here. It's calm here. It's light here.
To me personally, this section of the game was like it was saying, how you see things is how you feel. You can choose to see the bright side where broken bridges are fixed, or you can choose to see the dark, dreary, wet side where you're going to be constantly facing obstacles in your path. But in either case, you can't have the positive without the negative and vice versa. You must conquer both sides. You must accept both views as one in order to proceed
She saw things no one else
in
could.
your journey.
Patterns, shapes,
And if one is to overcome the challenges,
and intuition.
proceeding requires vision of both light and dark.
Friendship turned.
So Senua must focus on these masks to overcome her obstacles. The bright side fixes some things, clears some paths, but then some doors are locked, so she has to go back into the dark, dreary, wet side where said doors are now broken and the path is also cleared. So in a sense, to me, it was like the developers were saying that her two emotions, her positive emotion and her negative emotion, or her positive side and her negative side, must come together, and she must overcome both in order to proceed.
What if this is pointless?
What are you doing? Why did you think you could make this work?
The Northmen tell how the gods
The message in
punished
just
those
this
who fouled
small
his
section of the
They
game
captured him and took him to a cave.
of Senua's
They
journey
fetched his two sons
is very
and
deep,
turned one into a wolf,
and to
he
me,
ripped his
I would
brother
say
apart.
it's really,
The gods
really
used
well done
Loki's own
in a
son's
very
entrails
clever
to
way.
tie him down and turned these bonds to iron,
It's not
and
something
dangled
that
a poisonous
the
serpent over his
creators
face,
have
so that
like
its
sort of
venom
made
would rip on.
obvious,
Each time the
but
venom
they've
drips
actually
onto
left it
Loki's
to
face,
each
he
individual's
writhes in agony.
own
The
interpretation
Northmen say
and
that
what
is the
each
cause.
individual player makes of it.
A reminder, perhaps.
Some might just, play the game and go through the section and
So we.
simply see it as an in-game puzzle,
Do you know? Was it
whereas to
still
some
alive and doing
it could be very obvious.
to be dead?
But in either case, it's done really well. Really, really well.
You took him from me. I beg you, let him go. I'll give you what you want. I won't resist anymore. Just give him back. Something sinister.
The art direction
She begged them to
and
leave, but they
the
just laughed.
story in particular are absolutely fantastic.
As the bodies
It just
fell,
grabs you and keeps you hooked. You want to know where this journey of Senua's will end up,
they knew
how it plays out,
she was
The few characters that you are introduced to along the way are equally intriguing, and everything keeps you hooked. HellBlade is such a unique experience that I doubt my short video will do this perfect piece of art any justice. It really needs to be experienced properly, in the dark, with some decent headset, earphones, headphones, whatever you have. But if this video even piques a little interest in you to find out what happens to Senua, then at least I've achieved something.
Carry my stories with you, and together we will make the Northmen feel our fury.
Another voice joins us. She once tried to make them go away. Pretend they weren't real.
Senua's journey is a very gritty journey.
I guess it's the same.
It's quite painful,
Stand on the edge.
and
Pretend
it's supposed to
gonna
be.
okay.
And at the same time, it's very, very, very intriguing.
Waiting for you to make that.
If you've not experienced Senua's journey as of yet, then let me tell you this, you're really missing out. Really missing out.
The hardest battles are fought.
And I'll see you guys in the next one. This is Critical Q signing
That's
off.
what Dillian taught her. With every defeat, the dark rot will grow, and soon it will take her soul. But for now, at least, she still has control of her mind. And she will fulfill her vow, whatever the